Hello guys, this is our Wintry Wonderland tutorial. You're going to learn how to change a regular landscape into a winter wonderland. This is what it's going to look like when we're done. Okay, the first thing I like to do is cut out my subject. There are many ways you can cut out your subject. You can do it the hard way. You can also use a little plugin that I love personally. It's Topaz Remask. It cuts the subject out. It's really easy to use. It's really quick. Saves me a lot of time. Okay, once you have your subject cut out, you are going to start changing your landscape. Okay, the way you do this is you go to Select, Color Range, and you're going to start clicking on the area that you want to turn into snow. Now, the trick to doing this is changing the fuzziness and the range. You don't want to select the tree up here. You want it to leave that green to give it the wintry look. So you're going to want to, once you select your area, you're going to want to adjust you're going to make sure localized color clusters is check marked. Then you're going to adjust your fuzziness as well as your range. So you're not picking up a bunch of crazy things that you really didn't want to change into snow. Okay, you click OK once you're happy with the way it looks, and then do a hue and saturation adjustment. This is going to mask it for you automatically, which is really awesome. So you can do a couple different things here, and you'll probably want to adjust these and play with these, which is really handy for making everything look super realistic. You can adjust the lightness, which is what gives you the snow, but if you don't want your snow to be blaringly white, you can adjust this so you're not super white, but to make it look like snow, you're going to want to desaturate it. So your snow can be a little grayish. You're going to want to create little hills and valleys and make it look really realistic. You're going to want to keep playing with that and adjusting those. You just keep selecting areas, and then you just keep doing the same thing. You're going to have a lot of layers if you want to do this right and make it look really good. The trick is just keep messing with it until you're happy with the way it looks. You can also come back and adjust these afterwards if you decide, oh, I want that to be a little bit brighter. That's basically how you get the landscape, the ground, to have snow cover on it. Now, to get the needles to change, I like to zoom in so I can see them a little better. And I like to grab, using the same technique, I like to grab some of these lighter color needles, and then I'm going to change my range. I'm going to turn it up, and then I'm going to take the fuzziness and I'm going to turn it way down so that I'm not selecting most of the tree. It's just going to select a little bit of the tree. So I just do another hue and saturation adjustment. And now it looks like we have some frost on the tree. Yay! Cool. All right. I'll go over here and show you how I got this part. It's the same exact thing. It's really cool. Another layer. And you'll notice you're starting to pick up a few little things that you didn't even realize you were picking up and changing, which is really cool. So you end up with what looks like snow on the side of the tree. It's just a happy accident. You just keep making these layers until you're happy with your results. Now we have some snow. You see the snow on the tree. We've even picked up some on the branches down here. So it really starts to look like snow. Okay, once you have all of your hue and saturation adjustment layers and you're happy with your landscape, you might want to add some snow. There's more than one way to do this. You can use one of our overlays, which is kind of just super quick and easy to use. You just drag it, drop it. You're going to notice that it's pretty dark looking. Once you fit it onto your picture and adjust it, adjust the size, you'll go to change the blending mode to screen, and automatically you've got some pretty awesome flakes. You will want to erase anything that's on your subject's face because you don't really want to show snowflakes on their face. You might leave a few like on their body or whatever, which is kind of cool. You can adjust the opacity of this to make it look a little more realistic. Another thing you can do with these layers is you can do a little blur, which makes them look more realistic. I like to do a motion blur because as flakes fall, a lot of the time you'll see a little movement. You can adjust this however you want. Make them look like they're falling faster, slower, and you can change the angle at which they're falling. Kind of play with that. You can do that, and you can also do another type of blur if you want, or just experiment with the way the blending modes for not blending modes, but blurs for those. Another thing that I like to do, because I want my snow to be a little bit more dimensional, I will create a brush or two. The brushes that I like to play with, I just grab a round brush and I adjust the hardness. You may want to make it a little harder. You're going to want to play with this. You're going to use a white color, and I might want those a little better. Okay, and now you're going to come over here to your brush palette, and you're going to want to adjust your spacing. You're going to space those out. I like to just play with them over here so I can see what's happening as I go. Let me space them out a little more. And now you're going to play with the scattering. This just randomizes how the brush is going to be painted on. Then you're going to play with the transfer. You want to adjust these things, just kind of mess with them. So some of them are going to be a little lighter than the others. You can adjust that a little bit more. Let's see. And you may want to play with the size jitter. This adjusts the size, so you're not going to get exactly the same size. And it makes them a little more random. So you can kind of play with that. You can change the minimum diameter so that the smallest the brush can be is a certain size. I like to just play with these and just really mess with it to see what things are going to look like. Yeah, we've got a good sprinkling of brushes, or of snowflakes. Okay, so then I like to take this brush and I just kind of like to random paint. I like to do this on several different layers, adjust the opacity of it, and so you get something like this, and then you can go and do a motion blur on that and make it match your other fat flakes that we've got going on over here. Gives it a little more of a realistic look. I like to kind of build these layers up and do several because this way it gives it a little more dimension. And play with this a little bit more. You've got some smaller flakes. Okay, do another motion blur on it. And now we have some pretty realistic looking snowflakes. And that's pretty much it, guys. You can play with the grass. If you have grass coming up down here that looks, if you don't like the way that looks, you can always do some cloning, do some playing with it. I think it's kind of neat. It looks frosty to me. Basically, that's it. We go from having a really green, summery almost looking background to a wintry wonderland.